Live from my house in Bellevue, Washington, this is the Podworms Spacecast. The Podworms are 7 lifelong friends, and all they wanted for Christmas was you, which explains why we got so many female sheep. Welcome to the Spacecast.
I laughed, but I don't necessarily understand that reference.
A female sheep is called a ewe. EWE.
That's a deep cut. That goes out to all our farming listeners out there.
Yeah, it does. Well, happy New Year and welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We have got a full to the brim show for you. It's bursting with content, and not only is it bursting with content, but it's bursting with podworms. Let me introduce the podworms you got in the studio today. We have... Oh shit, what are you guys' things now? Oh yeah, he looks a thing like Jesus. It's Phil Williams.
That is correct.
And
every day looking a little more holy.
And we have our fan of the pod. He's on the pod, Kevin McCoy.
Hey, how's it going?
And I'm Andrew LeClaire. Wow, a little bit short-staffed today.
And that's it. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is the least amount of podworms we've ever had on a recording.
I think that's correct.
That's not going out on a limb. That's just factually correct.
We have never had less than 4.
Yeah, we trimmed the fat. You know, we had a hard performance review session last Sunday. Some guys, I mean, they'll be on the next episode. That's the JV squad
For sure.
Oh yeah, next episode for sure. I sent a very strongly worded email that said, if you want to be dedicated to the podcast in 2019, I better see your asses in these chairs next week because honestly, the fans demand it.
Well, to be fair to our other members, it is Hanukkah right now. You know, a lot of them are observing that religious holiday.
Oh, right.
From outside Jewish people's windows. It's kind of weird.
They are quite literally observing the holiday.
I can only imagine our confused listeners right now because either they're piecing it together that we're recording this in advance of New Year's and they're figuring out when we're recording this, except I think currently, isn't Hanukkah over now?
Not a Jew, so.
Okay. You're just kind of, you know what? Yes,
he just looks like Jesus. That's the only thing.
I feel like
Jesus.
Hanukkah's long enough that anytime during December, you can probably throw it out there and you have a pretty good chance of landing.
Isn't there 12 days? I don't know.
No, I mean, the way I always remember it is by Adam Sandler's song. It's like 23 Crazy Nights or something.
Okay.
You remember that one? Yeah, I think it's like 23 days of Hanukkah.
Okay, 23 days.
Yeah.
Jews out there, correct us because we know we're wrong. How many days is Hanukkah?
I feel like I should know this. It's like
I do
holiday.
know. It's 8.
Well, yeah, I know there's 8 candles on them.
No, it's 8 days. It's 8 crazy nights.
Isn't there 9 candles? Because you got the one in the middle, right?
Yeah, but that's the one that lights the other ones.
All right. Well,
It's not like a day candle. It's just kind of like hey, I use this one to light the other ones.
it's the Jesus candle.
Yeah, for sure. Except they're Jews.
Jesus, King of the Jews.
You know,
So
listen, pod fans, space fans, if you're out there and you somehow know more about Hanukkah than us, why don't you write us some pod mail and let us know about it? All right.
Not a high bar. Send us some mail.
Inform us. Well, despite the fact that we are kind of short-staffed and might be a little bit, NPR vibey tonight, because, when you just got intimate cast, it's really just a nice conversation between friends, not this whole zany action-packed show you're used to.
I don't think intimate's the correct word. I think today's episode will be coherent as opposed to our other episodes.
Listenable, perhaps.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Maybe less chanting, maybe more introspection.
It only
yes.
takes 3 to chant, though.
That's true. Only 3 to chant. Only 3 to chant.
I didn't do it.
And that's why I fell
Technically not
flat.
chant.
That's,
We're going to read some pod mail today. Kevin is bringing some of his thoughts to the table. Someone's going to be setting a record straight from a story previously told on the podcast. And we're going to close the first episode of this new year with a fan favorite, maybe the only bit that recurs because it's so darn great, NSRG. So a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline towards you.
I tried typing NSRG into Pornhub. Not a whole lot of results.
That's surprising to me, actually. What were you expecting to find?
I don't know.
Just like a video with boats, boots, bots, and tubes.
Being bored these days, I just type whatever I can into that search bar.
I mean, at this point in time, I wouldn't be surprised if something showed up.
Like U.S. deficit.
You mean U.S. deficit themed porn?
Yeah, I mean, I like to have my porn be educational.
Whenever possible, yeah. I mean, kill 2 birds with 1 stone while you're at it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a pod mail from a fan, as they often are. This is from a fan named RJ De Torres.
Shout out RJ, my man. That's
Oh, you know
DJ
RJ.
Centrix, man.
Yeah.
RJ and Gel, if you're listening, go fuck yourself. I'm coming up to Vancouver.
Wow. Some shout outs from the looks a thing like Jesus man himself. Wow. Very.
Glad we read this when you were on the pod.
Me
And
too.
everyone else was not.
Yeah, this would have made a lot of sense. But here's what he had to say. What's going on, you bunch of slimers? Canadian listener here. Really enjoying the podcast. Just wanted to message and let you guys know that I'm on team dick flaps with Chase. It's just way too much work unzipping and unbuttoning and pulling down your pants just to take a piss when you could just unzip and flap away. Not to mention the weird straddle/squat you have to do to keep your pants from slipping to the floor. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Look forward to hearing more great content. Keep on sliming on, RJ, aka Centrix.
I love you, RJ, but you're just flat out wrong on this one. You know, I think that the zipper technique is favored by members of our listenership that have tiny penises that can flip, you know, maybe go through the eye of a pin, you know.
Thread the needle.
Thread the needle, as it were.
As you were, yeah.
When you're working with a real hog, the flap does not do.
I like arguments where it's like, well, I mean, if you disagree with me, your dick's small.
The conversation kind of has to end there, I think.
Well, like, I guess I'm sorry to argue.
I mean, the one thing I'll say, whether you're team dick flaps or team pulling your pants down around your ankles, butter style from South Park, I think it's good that we can just have this conversation and just still be friends at the end of the day, you know, in this divisive culture, to have people among us that both pull their dick out through the hole and also just whip it out over the top, and we can still be here and have a civil conversation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, sometimes I like to put my balls through the hole and then my dick over the top,
All right, now that's just fucked up.
you know, just to be inclusive of all perspectives.
Have you ever done that thing where you, and this is if we have any female listeners, this is where we're really losing them. But then again, I don't think we do to begin with. Have you ever done that thing where you like tense up your stomach muscles and you can kind of like pull your balls up to your stomach a little bit?
What?
Okay.
Hold on.
There's like,
Are you doing like ball aerobics? I'm sorry. What's going on here?
I don't have the ability to actually like mentally manipulate my scrotum. It just doesn't work.
I mean, like the thing that I think manipulates my scrotum is probably only temperature.
I thought so as well. And I don't know if I can do it every day, but there was like a day where I remember sitting on my couch and I was like, in a kind of relaxed position, and I kind of like tensed my stomach muscles. And it was like as if you had a string connected to my balls and I felt them pull up. And I was sitting there just like,
Oh,
you know, pulling them up.
So this is your equivalent. Like, you know, when you go to the doctor and they say turn and cough,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, probably similar. I think. Yeah.
Andrew, I think you might have experienced an orgasm. that tends to happen.
I mean, it didn't really feel like anything, but if you say so,
Did you shoot white powder out of your?
yeah.
Powder.
Well, I mean, that's
Wait, you guys don't do powder?
I mean, if it's been a long enough session, then yeah, you know, it's just like, just kind of sputters out the end in in a kind of defeated fashion, but not always. Well,
Fair enough.
RJ, appreciate you writing in. Space fans out there, if you want to write in some pod mail, pwspacecast@gmail.com is the place to be. Let us know, where do you stand on the dick out, dick over debate? Does your dick shoot out white powder? Should I go to the doctor? Let us know. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes. You may or may not have seen, I'm talking to the people in the room here, my fellow podworms. On my driveway, there looks to be, it looks like if you took a bunch of spit wads and you just crushed them into my driveway all over. And it just looks like a bunch of wet paper everywhere. And that's because it is.
It is spit wads.
It's not spit wads, but it is crushed wet paper. Here's what happened. We moved into this house, I don't know, 2 years ago now. And we started getting this paper called like the Bellevue Reporter or some bullshit. Some local paper that we never read. And I don't know how paper gets delivered, why it gets delivered, who orders the paper. But the thing I can tell you is that I did not order the paper. But we get this newspaper and it's essentially someone out there, it's not me, but someone out there is paying for this paper to be delivered. But what they're really doing is that they're paying for somebody to make me bend over, pick something up, and then put it in the trash every few days, which is, they're getting their last laugh, I guess. But sometimes I just can't be bothered to bend down and pick up the newspaper. So
you just like step on it and grind it into your
well, not exactly
driveway until it's like small enough pieces that the rain will wash it away.
Not exactly.
I'm pretty sure this is the same type of effect that produced crude oil. All the limp carcasses of the dinosaurs, much like your newspaper, will turn into some sort of renewable energy in the future.
Well, that's what I was hoping. It hasn't happened, but what does happen is that, and by the way, this isn't just a me, Andrew being lazy thing. I live with 3 other people, 3 other adults in this house. And for days on end, it'll happen where we will step over the newspaper, we'll see it on the driveway, and we'll step over it. And it's in a plastic bag, so it's kind of being protected. But I don't know if the plastic bag is compostable or if it gets loosened up by people driving over it with their cars. But at some point, the bag kind of becomes loose and the paper is exposed to the elements. Then the rain comes. And apparently, as it turns out, newspaper is very susceptible to being kind of torn apart by the elements. And what happens is that it just gets shredded into pieces, and now it's just strewn across my driveway. And people who drive past the house must think that we are the absolute laziest piece of shit people on the block, because it just looks like you vomited newspaper all the way down the driveway because the rain washes it into the street and you cannot get that shit off. I don't know what it is. I've taken like a rake.
A rake? What? I would try a broom first.
Yeah, you're starting off on the wrong tools there.
You think a broom before a rake? I mean, it's already been like baked into
Are you raking your driveway?
Yes. I'm raking my driveway.
Wait,
right.
No, they probably don't
world
judge.
would that work?
Well, because here's what I'm thinking is that the rake's got the nice prongs and the newspaper's already kind of caked into the driveway. So I figured the prongs kind of, get stuff moving. But
Andrew, I hate to break it to you. The people driving past your house probably give no shits about the newspaper. They probably do slow down when they see a crazy person attacking his driveway with a rake, though.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
You got to just jump straight to the pressure washer. Just blast it right out of here.
I would love to get a pressure washer because I'm sure that like this house it's old, right? If I got a pressure washer, I bet you could get some real like layers of grime off. And the driveway too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably repaint the entire interior of this place with a pressure washer.
Gonna get that grime off. Like it's weird to me that you're excited to pressure wash, but you're not excited to pick up a newspaper and throw it in the trash.
Well, pressure washing is like holding a big gun, like a powerful piece of weaponry, and picking up a newspaper is, it's just a chore.
We need to get you like one of those like things, those mechanical arm extenders.
A grabber.
Yeah, the grabber.
Gopher.
Gopher? I don't know this.
Yeah, it's what it's a gopher because it goes for the object. It was like
it's like that's like the midnight infomercial. For
yes,
the
it's actually on TV version. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's get you that for Christmas.
Well, I technically have one of those for picking up my dog's poop in the yard. So it could be multi-purpose.
Wait, you're telling me you don't do the bag trick? You don't do the old reverse bag where you grab the poo and then switch it around?
Well, I do.
That's a terrible description, but
no, I understand. You put the bag around your hand and then you grab the poop and then the bags and No, I do that, but only when we're on walks. When he's in the yard, I don't like follow him around with a poop bag waiting to grab it. It's kind of like
we had a poop grabber too. It's like it's like a grabber, but it's like specifically designed to scoop up poop.
Right. It's got like a shovel component kind of.
I feel like that wouldn't be as receptive to picking up an entire newspaper.
Yeah, maybe I should just buy the grabber. I think it's the only solution.
Or
Maybe you
just
should
bend over once a week.
or cancel your subscription. Maybe save the environment, not just throw away the paper that comes every day.
It sounds like they don't have any subscription. It sounds like it's just coming to them whether or not they want it.
Perhaps the Bellevue paper, Bellevue Report, or whatever it is just a vehicle for ads.
Well, I guess there is a little bit of a conclusion to the story is that Daniel tried to get the newspaper off the driveway at some point, and the funny thing was that he messaged our group chat and he's like, just get the newspaper off the driveway, work and get the newspaper off. And then I came home and I was going to be like, oh, this is so great. Daniel got the newspaper off. It's still all over the fucking driveway. So I don't know if he like gave up, just did a really shitty job, but it's still exactly the same way it was. And he said, oh yeah, get the newspaper off the driveway right now. He didn't do shit. But he did cancel the subscription somehow. So this is the last time, I guess.
There you go. I guess you just wait for the rain to wash it away.
That's what I thought, but it's rained quite a bit recently and it's only made it worse. So I don't know. I think I need to look into like paper mache physics or something because that's what we're dealing with here.
You could just hose it down and like have it wash down the drain. I don't.
Oh, you don't think he's tried the hose?
Oh yeah.
I don't think he has.
Well, I mean,
no, I don't.
To be
Knowing Andrew, probably not.
to be fair, I only tried a rake.
And you only tried a rake.
Well,
that was your first try. And
I
you
thought
went with the rake.
I thought the rake was for sure gonna have the highest percentage chance of working.
Dude, that's like if you went to the dentist and like, do you brush your teeth? You're like, yeah, definitely every day with a chopstick. Yeah, I totally brush it. It works real great.
It seemed like it was gonna make the most sense. All right, maybe I'll use something else.
Any broom, literally any broom is a better idea.
Okay, I'll try a broom.
Yeah.
But from now on out, no more Bellevue Reporter. So give it to someone else to pick up and throw it in the trash. Kevin.
It's kind of a success story.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. It depends on your definition of success.
Sure.
It was a success, I guess. Kevin, I understand some stuff's been going on in your life recently. Is that true?
So last night, I have a tradition of with my friends to go and watch just the most horrendous like Christmas films and just heckle the hell out of them.
Lovely.
We watched a film last night that I'm going to give you a little backstory on. In the year 2000, a band named New Song wrote a song called Christmas Shoes. Have you heard this?
Unfortunately, yeah.
No, I have not.
Oh,
Do you want to describe it, Kevin?
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay.
It was released in 2000. A year later, a band, Three of Hearts, covered it, and it went up to number 39 on the country chart.
Ugh.
39 on the country chart, and I've never heard of it.
I know, right?
Insane.
Head in the sand.
A year later, in 2002, someone wrote a book about the lyrics from this song, and that same year, it got turned into a TV movie.
No kidding. The song is horrible.
How?
Fight
This
me,
has more
Spacefans.
commercial success than most stand-up comedians. This is amazing.
So basically, I'm gonna skip straight to the chorus because I don't want to go through the whole thing. But I'm gonna read you the lyrics of the chorus because it's like the most emotionally manipulative song I've ever heard in my life.
Oh.
It's basically this guy's grumpy and he's buying stuff, like buying Christmas gifts at like the store, and he sees a kid in front of him who looks homeless, basically. Like he says, his clothes were worn and old, and he was dirty from head to toe.
No judgments, though.
And so the kid is trying to buy shoes, and he says, "Sir, I want to buy these shoes for my mama, please. It's Christmas Eve, and these shoes are just her size. Could you hurry, sir? Daddy says there's not much time. You see, she's been sick for quite a while, and I know that these shoes will make her smile, and I want to make her look beautiful, I want her to look beautiful if Mama meets Jesus tonight."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Can you just take one beat right here and imagine you're the cashier? I guess they're $20, so you could just pay me $20 and then be on your way.
Just whatever it takes
Yeah.
to get this scene away from my cash wrap.
Unfortunately, the cashier in this song says, "Son, there's not enough here."
Oh, what an asshole.
You know what, though? The great part is that the person who wrote this song is a generous, heartwarming fellow. And I like this is the best part about it to the song to me is it's just like basically trying to make the singer of the song seem like the best person ever. Because it like comes in and it's got like he says, "So I laid the money down," but it's like triumph. It's like, "So I laid the money down. I just had to help him out." And I'll never forget that look on his face when he said, "Mama's gonna look so great
When she dies on Christmas and we're poor, like Jesus.
It's layered.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Poor kid.
Yeah, so they made like a full-on movie about this, and Rob Lowe is in it. And the I don't know if you ever saw Father of the Bride, but the daughter from that is the mom who's dying. And
Oh my God, how much money did Rob Lowe need to accept this role?
I don't know. I mean, enough to be in a made-for-TV movie, but
He must have been in Vegas, just racking it up.
Well, this was before Parks and Rec, right? This was early 2000s.
yeah.
Because Rob Lowe was like kind of he kind of fell off because he had this scandal when he was like
Did he date somebody that was like 7 years old or something?
I don't know what it was. There was some scandal he was in when he was like in his late teens or early 20s or something. And I think he didn't really come back into like being the guy we know him as until Parks and Rec, probably.
I don't
Obviously,
know.
because he was in Christmas Shoes, the movie in the early 2000s.
I mean, that I think probably turned it around for him.
So how did they expand this song into a full movie? Does it all take place in the store?
Right. The whole setup of this movie is to get to the place where there's the kid trying to buy these shoes for his mom who's dying from a heart murmur.
Oh my God.
So it turned like the kid's mom is like the choir teacher at the school. His dad is a mechanic and he's in school with Rob Lowe's daughter. Rob Lowe's an attorney and him and his wife are like on the outs. Their marriage is not going well because he keeps not showing up to his daughter's choir practices or like recitals that the kid's mom is teaching. And she gets so sick that Rob Lowe's wife steps in and starts teaching the class. And then Rob Lowe's car breaks down. He takes it to the dad and has him fix it. The little kid goes and visits Rob Lowe's mom, who gives him his baseball hat when he was a kid, which is a Boston Red Sox cap.
Oh my God.
And this all leads up to like Christmas Eve when she's like dying in her bed. Rob Lowe's wife takes all the kids to sing this song in front of their house as she's dying.
Wait, the Christmas Shoes song?
And other carols. They sing it for a second. And they skip the parts where it makes it clear that they're just singing exactly what's happening in the movie. On Christmas Eve, this kid has been collecting cans and he finally goes and gets enough cans. He has like $15 and it's supposed to be $20. And he like is putting it down. It's like mostly nickels. And the guy's like, I can't do that. I can't give you these shoes. And Rob Lowe sees what's going on, like has a change of heart and like pays for the extra $5 for this kid.
Oh,
So
big.
noble.
That's big.
5 bones.
Yeah.
And then he goes to his wife, like he finds out where the choir kids are, which is outside this family's house. And he finds his daughter and his wife. And then his wife, even though that's the only thing that happened, his wife is like, what happened to you tonight? Like he's completely changed person. And then they all hug. And then this is the best part. Like it, like you don't even realize it, but it cuts to like 20 years in the future. And he's visiting his mom's grave. And he sees this kid there in a Boston Red Sox hat. And you don't know who it is as the viewer. But you like talk to him. He's like, and the other guy is like, hey, no one's normally here on Christmas Day. And so Rob Lowe goes, well, I'll see you around. And the guy goes off. And then he goes over to the grave that the other person was at. And there's the Christmas shoes that he bought. And he recognizes it. And he like wants to stop the kid, but he's driving off. And that's how the movie ends.
I mean,
Which is like a true
I would be
Christmas
lying if I said I didn't get a little chills right there.
Yeah, I actually did get. I did get a little thing down my spine right there because
I mean,
misconnections.
I think you nailed it on the head. It's emotionally manipulative. That's what the whole thing is.
Oh yeah. I just love the idea of writing that song though, just to be the person who's like helping this kid out in this terrible situation.
Oh my! I think I actually heard that song for the first time. Mike and Julia actually played it for us. We were coming home from Zoo Lights a few years ago, and they're like, "Did you ever hear the song Christmas Shoes?" And I said, "No," which makes sense because it's not really the type of song to show up on the radio for Christmas music.
Right.
No one wants to hear that when you're just like at the office working, you got your Christmas music on. No one wants to hear Christmas Shoes come on. I actually don't even know how could it have possibly charted so high. Who wants to hear that song? It's like, it's an instant bummer. The song is cheesy. The lyrics are bad. Who wants to hear that?
I don't know. I haven't heard the 3 of Hearts version of it. But also the band FM Static. I don't know if you remember them. They're like an older, like early 2000s, like
FM Static screams early 2000s.
like pop punk band. And they did a cover of it too.
Oh,
and I
bizarre.
listened to that today and it's not great, but
Well, yeah, you can't really make that thing any better.
like I couldn't, like the thing that was interesting, I'm not sure if they did it ironically or not. I assume that they did it ironically, which is why I listened to it. But then it's like just the most genuine version of that song. And so I was still just like, this is so bizarre.
That's an interesting trend that never caught on because we have books that get turned into movies. We have video games that get turned into movies, but not often do you have songs that get turned into movies.
This was a song, got turned into a book, got turned into a movie, all in the span of 2 years.
That's what I want to know is that perhaps the original writer of this was like under a deadline or whatever. And he's like, oh, fuck, I have to write a Christmas song. Jesus. Christmas hats, shoes. Yes, we're going to do that one. And before he knew it, he's like, I am the sole author of this multi-million-dollar franchise. That's like accidentally writing Lord of the Rings. Like you just happen to do it.
Yeah, I would say that Christmas Shoes is analogous to Lord of the Rings for sure.
Same cultural impact, I'm sure.
I'm not going to recommend the movie, but I would definitely say you have to listen to the song. And like at the end of it, there's like a kids choir that kind of like bleeds you out of them just like, as mama's about to meet Jesus tonight.
That's intense.
Christmas isn't supposed to be about death. Save
mean,
that for Veterans Day.
Yeah, it's about birth, right?
Speaking of which,
It's about presents.
are there any good Veterans Day songs out there? I don't think so.
Is there any songs?
Well, and we can
Let alone good ones.
We can strike this from the record if this is inaccurate, but I seem to remember there being an assembly at, I think it was in junior high or even maybe, yeah, it was definitely junior high, where we were honoring the veterans at an assembly and they played Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day. And it was like a slideshow with that song in the background. And my God, did I get fucking so emotional and amped up because I think after it, they played I'm Proud to Be an American. Like that's a 1-2 punch of slideshow.
I honestly remember this slideshow. I think it was 8th grade. We watched it in the gym.
Yeah.
And I think that Wake Me Up When September Ends probably was written specifically for slideshows. Or like graduations or, you know, like
it's impactful.
monumental events.
But I remember just feeling like, oh man, that music. The other time I felt really emotionally manipulated by a song was we had those like morning bulletins that played in high school on the TV where everybody would turn their TV at 9:00 and there'd be the video class would do their presentation or whatnot. But they had a blood drive and they used How to Save a Life by The Fray. And it just, it just builds and it's just a slideshow of people who need blood. It's just, in your face. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta give blood.
Where did I go now?
Yeah. But I still remember that. I was like, my God, this is really making me feel. I wasn't ready for this at 9:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we have a new bit. It's not even a bit. It's more than a bit. It's a segment. We have a new segment called Some Thoughts with Kevin.
All right. These are some thoughts that I've had and I'm just going to burn them all. And we can talk about them as I read them out. The first one is the saying, you know it. It's always used wrong because it's like always after a question. Like, hey man, you want to go to the movies tonight? You know it. And it's like, no, I don't.
I asked the question. Fair enough.
That's true. I find myself, I say, a lot after I'm like saying something to get affirmation because I need it so badly. I'm like, I say something, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
My go-to affirmation is for show, which was dated in 2009 when I heard it, and I'm still rocking it in 2018.
It's gone from like outdated to ironic to maybe just like passe now, actually. I think you've gone through the whole life cycle.
I think I'm coming around the horn. I think it will be trendy here in a couple of years.
I think it's coming back around, yeah.
Maybe it's just endearing now.
All right, next Kevin's thought.
It's disarming. So every time I get an email from my bank, I think it's from Chase.
You mean DJ Rebel Scum, fellow podworm?
This would have been better if he was on the pod when I did it, but that's just a little
like
stupid
that.
thought.
All right, next Kevin's thought.
So if you have a good Chardonnay, they call it oaky. It's very oaky Chardonnay.
Sure.
But if you have a mediocre one, you just call it okay.
God damn it.
Next Kevin's thought.
Okay.
I think, sorry. I use this, whenever I hear Chardonnay, I always think Chardonnay, like a shitty.
Wait, what?
Like you shit your pants through a fart. Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. But it's like Chardonnay what?
I don't know. I just hear the word shart and I laugh. I'm a simple man.
Fair enough.
And we call those ones smoky.
Thank you, Kevin.
So I was thinking that February 4th should be a day to celebrate the Beatles. And that way we can celebrate the Fab Four on the Feb 4. This is really bad. But
These are thoughts that I think like come to somebody who's been locked in the hole. You're in solitary for 8.5 months.
Yeah.
And this is how you entertain yourself.
Or you're just sitting there raking newspaper off your driveway. Just letting your Chardonnay.
For sure.
Next, Kevin's thought.
Okay, this one's like probably the most bizarre, but I just had the idea of like, we have YOLO in the US, and I was thinking that that in Russia that they have YOLOT. And what that stands for is you only live one time. YOLOT. So it's like the same thing, but it's the Russian version.
Next, Kevin's thought.
This is the final one. Okay. So this is something that you could call a one-night stand with a man who's overly aggressive about protecting women for his own selfish gain, or a white side table that you place next to your bed. It's the same. You could use this same phrase for both of those things.
Can't wait to hear this.
A white nightstand.
I knew it was coming. I knew white eye was coming from somewhere.
Instead of a one night stand, it's a white nightstand.
That's funny.
Yeah. So there you go.
Those are some of Kevin's thoughts.
Those are some thoughts with Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. All right. We are going to take a real quick break. And then when we come back, a favorite Podworm story might get debunked.
Ooh.
Find out soon.
Podworm Space Cast, throw it in your face cast. Podworm Space Cast, get a little taste cast. Podworm Space Cast, throw it in your face cast. Podworm Space Cast, get a little taste cast.
All right. Welcome back, Space Fans. We've got the second half of the pod coming at you. And we've got a special guest who lives here alongside me at the household de la Claire, Emily Lippincott, my girlfriend.
Yeah, I say second half, they mean better half.
And Mike has to be at your mouth.
They mean second half, I meant better half.
Mike technique's going to need a little bit of work, but she's here for a reason. On a famous episode, episode 25, I recounted the story of going to IKEA. And we went to IKEA. We bought a bunch of stuff for about 3 minutes.
I love that you say we. Yes, keep going.
And then turned it around and returned it. And after this episode aired, Emily had a few gripes. I mean, not that I think I already sufficiently embarrassed myself the first time around with my, the way I went about that whole activity. But Emily thought that I still wasn't truthful to the real.
It's time to dig that hole deeper.
We have to dig the hole deeper. So
yes, let's see.
So Emily is here to set the record straight. So Emily, what about the IKEA story did I get wrong?
Oh, this story was not even a story. It was like a fable. This is the actual story. So what happened was that this happened on a Thursday. You told me it happened on a Saturday, or you told on the podcast it happened on a Saturday.
That already is disappointing to find out it was a Thursday and not a Saturday.
Well, I do have
that fully changes it for me.
I have a pretty inventive imagination.
Well, you said too. This happened a couple months ago, so I will give you a little bit of leeway.
Okay.
But no, this happened on Thursday, and I can confirm this because it was so horrible.
Okay. Did it be on Thursday make it worse for you?
Thursday is the worst day of the week. Everybody knows.
I mean, it's among the worst.
Well, if you think go to IKEA Thursday night, that's normally pretty good. It's like less busy, not that bad. Mm-hmm. Well, Thursday night, I work at Everett. It was an hour and a half commute to get home that night.
Uh-huh.
So here, I'm gonna set the
also
background.
your fault.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Fair enough.
A little bit. But so I'm gonna set this background. Mm-hmm. It's Thursday night, not Saturday. I'm sick. I'm a teacher. Being sick at work, it's not that easy to kind of fake. So Andrew tells me he wants
fake being sick at work.
Kind of. My kids last year.
Sympathy.
No, my kids last year, if I was sick, they would have ran me over. They were like, Miss Lippincott, if you're sick, we're taking it. And so I know I had to fake it. So Andrew told me he had this great idea. Thursday, Emily, we're gonna go IKEA. Andrew, I have no money. I don't have the salary to spend money. We have a great house. Love it. Don't need it. Emily, I have the money. We're going to do it. All right, he's got some money burning a hole in his
I
pocket.
have a plan. I've got
He's
a plan.
got money burning a hole in his pocket. He is ready to spend this money.
Even the same way. So far, we're on track.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah,
for the
Andrew-
whole Thursday fuck up.
So Andrew tells me he's money to burn. All right, I tell him, Andrew, I have no money. We go into this, Andrew, I have zero money. I'm not spending any money. I'm telling him up front, I'm not having it with you. Whatever you spend is totally up to you. And he goes, okay, that's fine. Normally we'll spend half, but I told him, if you want to go, you're spending the money. You want to do it, have at it.
This can be my, and I set the stipulation that this can be my kitchen table and that when you sit at it, you must first ask me permission. That's, because it can be my complete ownership.
Wait, okay. I feel like that's fuck up number 3.
Oh shit, we're already fuck up number 3.
Yeah, that was one that wasn't in the original story. If you're gonna make people ask permission to sit at your table,
Well, I mean, there's a sign up sheet where, you can reserve your time at the table and everything.
Well, that was one of the things we were going to go buy was the kitchen table. But I mean,
You know what's a great way to solidify your relationship with a significant other is when you go and buy things and you make sure to make a point to say, this is mine. When we split, if we split, the table is mine.
That's the kitchen table thing is a bit, but I actually do that with the iPad because whenever I want the iPad or Ellen's been using it and it's dead, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? My iPad is dead? I bought that and it's dead? It's
Whatever.
okay. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit of a dickhead. All right, continue,
Anyway,
please.
Okay. So you said you're going to buy this. I was sick, didn't want to go in the first place, but you told me you were going to go buy a couple $100 worth of stuff. So in my head, all right, let's go. I'm sick, but you're going to go spend your money. I mean, we don't need anything, but if you've got this money to burn, I mean, I see your paycheck. I know what you're spending money on. You've got this money somehow. I don't know where you got it from, but we're going to go. So I'm happy to go. So we go. You get home. It's like 6 o'clock. We get there by 6:30. Traffic's not too bad. We're pretty quick. You already told me what you wanted to get. We got some cubicles. Like we were going to get a table.
Cubicles. Oh, no, you don't mean cubicles. You mean the
little
cube organizers. Yeah.
Cube organizers.
Well, we were looking at the giant one because IKEA has like a 5x5, those cube
oh,
organizers.
for sure. I've got a couple of those at home.
The 5x5 ones?
Well, I've got a 3x. It's like a 3x2.
That's what we have.
And a 3x3.
Okay. Yeah, but they have like the massive ones that cover like a whole wall.
I don't need that. I don't need 5 feet of storage. I just need 3 feet by 2 feet.
And that's
We needed more storage. But so we were pretty quick. We knew what we wanted to get. But also in Andrew's story of the podcast last time, he said, best part of IKEA is the food. You are correct. Meatballs are great. Last time we went, we were on keto. We did not stop and get food at all.
Lie number 5.
So that's the best part of IKEA is the food. We didn't even get food. So I'm hungry.
True. I did lie
sick.
about that.
Oh, I also didn't even get the best part. It's pouring down rain. So it's like just this whole thing is just like a no-go. But Andrew said he spent his money. And you know what? Like I said, have at it, Andrew. So we're really quick though. Now this is where we get the check stand. And Andrew is thinking, like how Mike said too, where it's like you come to the aha moment of like, do I really need all this stuff? And you realize you may have spent a little bit over $300, maybe a little bit. So you go and put back some of the side tables that we got. And I'm okay with that because I realize I've already told you, Andrew, we don't need anything new. We don't need anything. So I'm happy with you putting more stuff back. So we get back in line for the second time. These lines aren't short. So the first time we were in line for probably was 15 minutes. You realize we didn't need that. So we went back, returned it.
Well, let me just set the record straight here that at least in somewhere deep in my mind, I was considering the fact that, maybe we're spending a little bit much money. Let me put back an item or two here. I was at least in that mindset.
I mean, yes, but you're like making these decisions now, but you're also planning on going through with this purchase.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Also, I could be wrong. It's been a long time since you told it, but I thought you said you spent like $800 when it came to the total of it.
Well, I wasn't doing very good mental math, which was part of the problem. I think I believed it was around 300, and then I was literally like looking at the receipt after we checked out, and I was like,
through the line the second time.
No, that's the thing. Andrew, the first time, thought he was somewhat close to $300 and kind of went back and returned the side tables. Nothing that big, side tables. So he's like, oh, maybe I'm at 400. I'm going to go return a couple things. The second time I go through, we're at like $800. So I don't know what we were at in the first place. Like, that was a lot of money. But yeah, so you're right. So you do go through and you realize, I'm pissed. We're going through the line second time. I don't want to be here. You've promised me you're going to buy some nice stuff for our house. So you're looking at me. I'm mad. I'm now sicker because it's the evening. You get sicker in the evening. We've been at IKEA for like 2 hours. I'm like ready to be done. It's 8 o'clock. IKEA closes at 9. I'm ready to peace out. So you realize the second time you go through that line, you better be buying something because I'm going to be furious if you're not. So we go through the line. You buy some stuff. I'm happy. We walk out. It's pouring rain. You're pushing the car. I hop in the car. I'm like, Andrew, load the stuff in. We're ready to go. You start loading stuff in and you stop. And so I get out of the car and you're looking at the receipt and I go, what's going on? And you're like, I think there might be a mistake. And I go, okay, well, let me look at it. Like, okay. And you're like, well, Emily, it was a lot more than I thought. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I saw the amount. I'm like, okay, I understand that. Let me look at the receipt. Maybe we did get something that we didn't need. Or maybe they scanned something twice. We look at it. They didn't scan anything twice. Everything's exactly the same amount that it's supposed to be. And so now I'm standing out in pouring rain, looking at you, and you turn to me, and you tell me, you don't think you can do this.
Those are pretty much my exact words too, didn't I? I said like, I can't do this.
No, there was not even I don't know, Emily, let's talk about it. You literally just pan-faced and looked at me and go, I can't do this. Mm. That was exactly.
He wasn't talking about the furniture. And that's where it went really south.
Yeah.
That's fuck up number 9.
But you looked at me and did that.
Yeah.
And that was the exact moment I stopped talking to you.
Yeah.
For the rest of the night.
And that's where the silence began.
But that's not even the worst part. Because think about this now. IKEA closes at 9. We're now out in the pouring rain. It's 8:30. The return line is out of control because it's the end of the night. So we walk in with our whole entire cart now, which is super wet because it's been out in the rain. And we now stand in line for what I'm hoping is just going to be till 9 o'clock. Because I can deal with it, 9 o'clock, that's fine. I'm ready to go home. 9 o'clock, we are there in line for a good 45 minutes. We do not leave until about 9:30. We don't get home until about 10. And so that whole IKEA trip was worthless. Oh, wait, you actually did buy something. Do you actually remember? You said you didn't buy anything.
I thought I returned everything.
No, there was one stupid thing. Do you actually remember? And we used it.
Well, I know it wasn't a kitchen table. That's for sure.
You kept the IKEA bag because you left it in the car by accident.
Yep,
and you didn't want to walk back out in the rain to go get it. So you kept the $2 bag and returned everything else that you went to go get.
You came home with an empty bag from IKEA. Oh my God. Thank you, Emily. This has been monumentally insightful. I was on Team Andrew at the beginning of the story. I have fully shifted to Team Emily because this is a weeknight. I use my time after work like it's a sanctuary, like I'm going to a Buddhist temple or something, to have it wasted in crappy Renton
while you're
in the
sick.
rain at night while you're sick.
And let me tell you, last year I hated my job. So that whole day was just pointless.
So let's break it down, because I wasn't sure if we'd have a real case here against you, because you made yourself look bad the first telling.
Sure.
Now we've gone through the full details of everything. So let's kind of like break down whether or not each one of these points. And actually, I'm just gonna give you my analysis.
Okay.
Here
Yeah.
Of each one of these points as to whether or not it was just embellishment for the story or truly unforgivable.
Okay.
You did buy something. You said you didn't. You bought a bag. Lie number 1. You didn't mention how long we spent in the return line. Lie number 2.
Yep. Lying by omission.
You didn't say that you waited in line to check out after reassessing your thing twice. So twice in line. And somebody could say that you just left that out just to make the story go quicker. But no.
It was a lie. It was a lie. Yep.
Point the 4th. Where are those meatballs? The best part of IKEA never happened. And like all of that, I would say, it's fine in telling a story. You're not going to get everything right. But the one thing that is absolutely unforgivable is that it happened on a Thursday.
The most sacred weekday of all weekdays.
And so I
Squandered.
I gotta say, you're just guilty in the court of the pod right now.
You know, after it's been a few months, I've had some time to think, and after some really deep introspection and reflection, I'm a piece of shit. But
It's amazing that this relationship has weathered this storm.
I think it's really because at the end of the day, we have a really great eco-friendly reusable bag. And that's the important part.
That's true. We probably actually used it like 4 or 5 times.
To fill it with meatballs.
Yes. But let me say this. IKEA bag. While you do save the environment, you have no shape and no form. It's one of the worst bags I own.
And it's too big. It's ginormous.
You can't use it for anything besides shopping at IKEA.
You know, I feel like you deserve to give Tom Cafferty an apology call.
Ron Cafferty.
Oh, crap. Well, I guess I'm going to give that call then.
Yeah. Perfect. That's just what I needed. Yeah, well, there you have it. I guess as it turns out, I am a piece of shit. I mean, I knew I was, but now it's confirmed.
I never said that, but you know, I'm always here to debunk stories because there's always a little bit of a truth that
There's a little
is
kernel.
lying in the sideway.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on and setting the record straight. And, you know, while we're all here together, why don't we just close the episode out with a little bit of one of our favorite games? NSRG.
That was unplanned, but not bad.
Well, so was my birth, but here we are. So we have 4 things today. In our favorite game called NSRG, this stands for non sequitur ranking game. And as I was thinking about the non sequitur ranking game, I realized that I called it this on a whim one day. And I don't really know if it's an accurate name or not, or if I've just kind of made this up, if it's completely nonsense, which I wouldn't really care either way. But I did look it up, and a non sequitur, by definition, is a conclusion or statement that does not logically follow from previous arguments or statements, which I think for this game is actually pretty accurate because we have 4 unrelated items that we compare to one another in an effort to see which one is objectively the best. So our 4 items today, we have New Year's Eve, New Balance, Newts, and Newborns. So I have a pretty clear list here. I'm ready and willing to defend it, but I'm happy to hear any opposing arguments. But I think just to start out, let's start from the bottom. I think we can all agree that the worst item here is Newborns.
New Balance.
New Balance.
Oh, no.
All right, I take
New
issue.
Balance for sure.
I take issue with that.
Let me give you a reason. New Balance is designed by 80-year-olds for 90-year-olds. They're terrible
Okay.
shoes. They're garbage. They look ugly. Perhaps they're comfortable. Wouldn't know. Wouldn't be caught dead in them.
Okay.
Fuck New Balance. Get some Nikes.
There's like the only shoes that Andrew wears.
They're the only shoes I can fit into.
You need a new pair of shoes, not New Balance.
Well, here's the thing. I went to one of those fashionable stores in the mall, like Finish Line or whatever those different shoe stores are. And I tried on what I thought were the comfiest looking Nikes, the comfiest looking Adidas, and they were all too narrow. I don't know where these narrow footed people came from, but I need a nice wide shoe, and New Balance gives me that wide support.
There's this funny thing called, they have sizes for shoes, but they also have shoe sizes that have a W next to them, which stands for wide.
Yes, but I don't think Nike makes those.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But New Balance does. And that's why I gave New Balance my number 1 ranking. Yeah. Phil's got a surprised look upon his face.
Have you seen the meme, Surprise Pikachu?
Yes.
Maybe this meme's dead by the time this episode comes out, but I'm doing it right now.
I actually gave those my number 1 as well.
Oh.
Because they actually do fit your feet, and that is why. I have narrow feet, and I actually have the opposite issue. I have to buy shoes that are narrow fitted. And so maybe one day if Andrew and I have kids, I'll have normal feet. But Andrew has very wide feet. And so anytime we go to look for shoes for Andrew, we have to look for New Balance. And they always fit. And Andrew and I both hate shopping. And so whenever we see New Balance, it's like perfect. So we just run to them and it's like number 1. It's the best.
Yeah, my number 1 shoe supplier is basically Fred Meyer. I think that's where I've gotten most of my shoes recently, which people think is not a trendy place to get shoes, but they're dead wrong. What did you have as number 4, Kevin?
I had newborns.
Newborns? Okay, so we're in agreement. I mean, there's nothing good about them, right?
I mean, they are whiny and they don't talk to you. They need to be fed all the time, like every certain amount of hours. They smell good. That's like, I think I would say a pro.
They do.
Do they?
Yeah, they have like a good smell. It's like a new car, but it's like baby, new human
Yeah.
smell.
New human spell.
Yeah, but also along with that smell comes like the grossest, tarry, ashiest poops you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the vagina must smell great for some reason because when those babies come out, they do smell great. I will say this though, as a new nephew, not a new dad, I'm not ready for that garbage yet, but
You're a new nephew?
yeah, my oldest brother had a kid maybe like 6 months ago.
You a new uncle.
Or oh god,
Yeah,
sorry.
you're the uncle, right?
Yeah, I don't even know how I would become
How would you become a new nephew?
My like 60-year-old mom sprouting out kids.
But that still wouldn't make you a new nephew, right?
Oh no.
Like, wait, Kevin has a math.
Here, no, okay. All you have to do is have your aunt or uncle marry someone, and you're the new nephew.
Okay,
to
there
them.
you go. Right.
True. I mean, obviously, I need to go back and review my
Your family tree.
history,
Yeah.
family tree, or whatever.
Okay, so as a new uncle,
Exactly. As a new uncle to Ty and Christopher, I did notice this. My first nephew, his poops, garbage, clear the room, stinky. They were so bad. Ty, the youngest one, born about 6 months ago, fresh as a daisy. And so I'm just already foreseeing in the future that Ty is going to be, you know, having girlfriends and everything because stinky poo is an indicator for a stinky life. And you're not gonna be able to find somebody who's gonna put up with that.
I unfortunately don't disagree. Here's where I take the most issue with newborns, to be frank, is that with a newborn, it's expected that you're all like, oh, this is the cutest little baby I've ever seen. There's no such thing as a cute newborn. They're all like little pink, globby little monsters.
I think they're cute. The fact they're just kind of scary because they're so breakable.
Right.
Like I'm a teacher. I love kids. I enjoy kids. But I have kids, they're like 6 or 7, and like they like will run face first into a wall. I'll go, you good? And they look at me and go, yep, I'm great. I'm like, all right, friends, keep on going. If you like even touch a newborn like slightly wrong, it's like terrifying that you're gonna break them.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a specific spot on their
Yeah.
head that you are not allowed to touch.
Right. But I mean, it's like, doesn't just the thought of you can't touch it make you want to touch it more?
A little bit.
Like fixate on it. I want to touch that spot.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable feeling.
I held a newborn for like the first time over the holidays. My cousin had a baby and he had me hold it. I just don't know what to do with it because either you're holding on to where there's potentially a buttload of poop, or you're holding it around like a little baby dick. You know, where's the appropriate place to grab a baby?
You are 100% correct. It's very awkward when you don't have children, when your significant others or your cousins, they want to hand you children. And you're like, maybe I'll just hit up the bean dip instead of the newborn.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What gets me is that, at least in my house, having the kid around, that's the main pastime, is watching this infant do absolutely nothing. Just exist. And I feel like I'm in a cult around my family. I mean, I love kids, whatever. But the whole family is just sitting around staring at this child like, oh my God, he picked his diaper.
If you're an only child, that literally happens for every day. You go see your parents. So
Yeah, even so, like 25.
yeah, I mean, welcome
Oh
to my
wow,
life.
you picked up a newspaper. Proud of you.
I literally could tell my parents I picked up the newspaper in the driveway, and I guarantee you they would tell me, "Good job."
Being an only child, I guess that has perks.
Very culty. Yeah, very culty.
All right.
And my last point against newborns, and in the case against newborns,
Yeah.
is I lived in a place for the last 7 years with a couple of roommates that was like the best living situation. I really loved living with them. The reason I moved out, a newborn.
Oh.
So they have a new roommate, but it's not me.
It's more like a womb mate.
I bet that bitch ain't paying nothing.
If the newborn not arrived, would you have still been with them today?
Well, depending on what you mean by that, If there's a lot of ways to not arrive. Some of them are more darker than others.
Okay.
So if they weren't gonna have a kid, no, I'd still be there.
Okay.
If they're trying for a kid and then the do board just didn't arrive, I'd probably be gone.
What, you take issue with that? You have to leave the house.
I don't take issue with it. I think it's a tough thing. It's just it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing.
Looks like you guys need your space. I'm gonna go ahead and leave. All right, fair enough. Number 3, I put New Year's Eve, and I'll tell you why. People think it's this great celebration, but it actually just sucks. All right, you sit and watch a ball. You sit and watch some fireworks, the Space Needle. Who gives a good goddamn? You look up a fucking YouTube video and watch that any day of the week. What's so special about it? It rings the new year. Oh, big deal.
You're dumb. I have to say, New Year's Eve was my number 1. Do you want to know why?
I do, yeah.
If you're sitting around watching a ball drop, you're a goddamn loser. If you're sitting at home watching somebody else have fun during New Year's Eve, yeah, it's shitty. Of course it's shitty. New Year's Eve is awesome because all the best parties happen on New Year's Eve. And when you go out, everybody has the obligation to stay out till midnight. So all those parties go till like 4 a.m. because New Year's Eve is like the halfway, or I guess New Year's Day, whatever, midnight. That's like the halfway point of the party. So they're always super duper fun. If you're sitting at home with your children and you set the clocks back, you trick your kids and say it's New Year's and go to bed early, obviously it's a dumb holiday. That's like saying I hate Christmas, but I don't give any presents.
It's the one holiday where for sure everyone has the next day off. Right?
Exactly.
You're all gonna be partying. Like I guess my question to you, Andrew, is: do you not like parties?
Yeah, that's fair to say. I'm not a big partier. I'll admit that. And maybe it's because I just don't love the club scene necessarily. I'll get together with some friends. We'll hang out and watch the ball drop. And, that's just a really great time.
All about the balls.
And he's not talking about infants.
Well, not usually, no. But yeah, I don't really love to go out to the clubs. I don't like to drive on New Year's Eve. So maybe, yeah, I'm not a big partier. That might be part of it. Yeah.
You can definitely tell Andrew and I are dating. This is actually, I flipped Phil. So Phil said he didn't like New Balance. I said that was my favorite. I said New Year's Eve was my least favorite. Number 4.
Oh, number 4.
Hermits.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Freaking hermits
a
over
little
here.
bit. But part of my thing is that New Year's Eve, a little bit is like my least favorite day or evening of the year because it stresses me out driving. So part of the reason Andrew and I are home, well, him and I both don't like the club scene, but we don't like driving in it. So the reason we're watching the ball drop.
Uber.
Well, there's some other ding dongs out there who don't Uber though, but it's like the most like high rated like drunk night to drive. So the reason we're watching the ball drop on our sofa, not at midnight, but at 9 p.m. New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we
New
gotta
York
watch the Eastern.
time.
Gotta watch the Eastern time fall.
Is because we may end up probably going to sleep right afterwards, but I don't know.
I'm adding a 5th item to this list, and it's called imagining what your New Year's Eve is like, and it's getting last place from me as well.
I can imagine the date right now. It's Andrew. I'm sorry. It's Andrew. You guys are putting down a cheese ball for 2. Perhaps you sniff a glass of wine and then say, "Ooh, a little strong for me," and pour it down the sink. Afterwards, once the ball has dropped East Coast time, 7:30 or whatever the fuck time it is, you settle down to a nice game of Scrabble, but perhaps a little too strenuous. So early to bed because you've got a big day tomorrow. Does that accurately sum up the
I
night?
think that's close, but it does sound like a little bit too high energy for us.
I'm just sad that you reached 80 by the time you were 26.
I mean, yeah, instead of Scrabble, we might be doing chess, but I mean, it's pretty close.
It's a fun time. It really is.
I mean, to be honest, we literally have nothing playing this year, and we're probably going to watch a movie and just hang out, and I am 100% okay with that. But then you will hear again next year us saying that New Year's Eve is number 3 and number 4 on our list. But
We'll find something to do, I'm sure.
Well, if you're interested, private party of the Rendezvous in Belltown at $10 to get in. Should be fun.
Okay. Well, think about that. Number 2. You're right. I'm just trying to get you off my back. You're right.
Invite's going straight in the garbage.
Yeah, it is. Okay, number 2. I think this is a pretty obvious one. I think we all have to be in agreement here. This is a newt, correct?
Wait, do we all put newts as number 2?
no.
Emily was number 3. Kevin, where'd you put it?
I put it as number 2.
Number 2. Phil, were you also number 2 for newts?
Yeah, only because they're like lizards, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, but like, I don't know anything about newts.
Can't have a strong opinion on
Do
them
they
one
have
way or the
poison or fangs or even tails? I don't know.
other. Right. It's hard to know. Yeah, that's kind of why I said there's kind of like they're there. They exist. We know that they're in the world, but we don't really care about them that much.
Yeah, there's a kind of like, I mean, there's good ones, there's bad ones, like, little terrariums, and they like wiggle around and do stuff. And then there's the Gingriches, and you're like, whoa.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But doesn't he want to like colonize the moon or something?
Changing my vote to number 1 for Newt Gingrich.
Wait to number 1 for that. All right. Yeah.
That was a big swing. Okay.
I'd like to see him in a terrarium.
All right. So my number 1, New Balance. I already gave my explanation for that. Who and Emily also New Balance. So what did you guys put for number 1 then, Phil?
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Dude, I have trouble going to sleep today for New Year's Eve. I'm so excited.
You're that amped
Christmas
for it.
can go fuck itself.
No way. That's my Christmas. I mean, I feel like you guys, you're looking at my house right now. That's how I feel about Christmas. So
Also, you got to find people on like Christmas Day can be just as cool after you do the family stuff. Cause like every year on Christmas Day, me and my friends go to Lost Lake on Capitol Hill.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, like in Vanilla Sky when New York's just empty. That's what Capitol Hill like is on Christmas Day, but things are still open. So you can walk in there and like hang out in Lost Lake, which is normally busy, with the other like 3 people in there and just get plastered. And that's been kind of our Christmas tradition is we go there and we just like hang out and be ridiculous.
It's funny you would say that. Lost Lake is not my go-to watering hole. It's in Ballard. High Life. The High Life in Ballard is my Christmas go-to. And the bartenders at the High Life are living the low life because they are 45 and working on Christmas as a bartender.
Wait, is that the High Dive or is that different?
I think it's the High Life.
High Life, where is that in Ballard?
Jeez, now you put me on the spot. I don't even know the name.
Oh.
Give me a map. I'll point it out to you.
Never mind. It's not important. I'm just curious. I don't think I've been to High Life.
Or the High Line.
High Line.
Regardless,
I know where High
it's a
is.
bar in Ballard called the High. Add something else at the end. It's right down. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to name any streets right now.
Okay.
I take that back. I way overestimated my
Hang out
ability
there.
right there.
So let me summarize what we know about this place. It's a bar. It's High something, and it's on some street that crosses with some other street.
Yeah, see, I know the
In
High
Ballard.
Dive. It doesn't matter. I'm going to find this bar.
At the bottom
I'm going to figure out where Phil's regular watering hole is.
To be fair, it's not my regular watering hole. It's my
Clearly.
Christmas watering hole.
Okay.
I only went there 2 Christmases ago.
But it already earned the title of your Christmas watering hole.
Hey, and I'm not advocating for Lost Lake. I'm saying go anywhere you want to go. It doesn't matter. You can go to the heart of Capitol Hill, and it still is your town on Christmas Day.
Oh.
I like that. And
You know where Andrew and I's watering hole is? Right here in Bellevue, Washington. Right here at this kitchen table.
that's true. And I can tell you exactly where this is, but I'm not going to because I want all the space fans knocking down the door. But if you do want to become part of this podcast, there's a very easy way to do that. You can email us at pwspacecast@gmail.com. You can follow all of our antics on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Do we still maintain that? I don't know, but it's all Podworm Spacecast. go search it out. Go follow us, like and share and comment. Make us feel loved, and my God, will we make you feel loved. For all of us here at this table, and for all the podworms not in attendance, until next time, Space fans, keep squirming!